The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How LEGO Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Sync! Hello, everybody, and welcome.
What witty better are we gonna start today's episode?
And welcome to the TTV Podcast 145. At least wait until I say the number. This is a disturbing trend which has begun like 145. Yeah, it's 145.
Oh, 5 more episodes, so like a milestone, I guess?
5 more episodes till you're fired.
Life on the edge!
Ouch. Guess somebody's contract is
Yeah, it's
expiring.
like we're almost to our 150th episode, and I'll be honest, I've tossed around the idea of like doing some special event. I really don't think we're gonna do anything.
Well, that's like turning down the hype.
We're already planning on doing live streams for other things. We don't really need to do it for our 150th.
Yeah, we like 100 milestones, 50 milestones, kind of
I remember when Mesa wanted to do something for a 150th, and Var shot him down, and they had this huge discussion about it, and Var's like, no, why would we do that? It takes all the fun and specialty out of it.
Listen, you guys have this annoying thing where you all want to do some kind of special event for every little milestone we have.
We like
just
giving
obnoxious.
back to the fans.
That's not giving
That
back.
is, no,
Hosting
it's
a
100%
live
true.
stream?
Well,
How does
we
that
got
give back to the
15,000
fans? You don't give
subscribers.
anything away during them.
We're special, Var.
We did
We're
during our
special
10,000
stuff,
live
like-
stream. I gave away like Bionicle pieces and stuff before.
You
they were
gave
out.
away some
10,000
pieces.
Meso,
10,000
it's like
is an
Wizard.
event.
You can't have Christmas every day.
Meso, some
It's not
pieces.
special anymore.
Exactly. Some
Well, you
pieces.
can't with that attitude.
Some pieces are the worst prizes in the world. That was our worst giveaway ever.
No, it wasn't.
And you know
People
what, Var?
liked it.
Well,
I'm
what
sure
do you
people
mean
liked it.
we
Doesn't mean it was
all-
any better.
Go ahead.
I just said.
Okay,
I just
fine,
said it.
don't go ahead. What do you mean we
I
all have
just
this
said it, you freaking idiot!
What do you mean we all have this annoying tendency
Okay,
to want to do
let's stop
specials?
fighting.
I don't want to do specials all the time.
Let's stop fighting each other.
We're not doing a
Introduce
special for
each
the
other.
150th.
LJ, you're special.
Thank you.
So-
And
Johnny
no,
X.
we're not doing a special for when we hit 17,000.
I just said LJ was special so he would feel good again!
I wasn't talking to you.
Stop screaming, Johnny.
There's a lot of pent-up
Yeah, okay.
aggression here, guys. You guys want to talk about this?
No,
Is finals week really
not
getting
yet.
to you?
We won't talk about it yet.
Kyle,
First,
finals week has been over with for like 3
first
weeks
we'll
now.
introduce ourselves. I'm Messina.
I'm Barteran.
I'm LJ.
I'm Viper.
I'm Kahi.
I'm EXX Trooper. Hello, everyone.
And welcome to
You wanna
TTV
start? You wanna
145.
start? I'll punch your face in.
1v1 me, mate.
1v1 me
me real
over.
life.
Today, talk about some interesting topics.
I tell you what, I'll get you.
Yes, I'm ready to talk about some interesting topics.
X, do you want to do this like NPR format?
Yeah,
I'm not sure what NPR is.
TTV
Honestly, this entire conversation, that
Oh, of course, you don't
intro
live in America.
painted us all sorts of different colors. Like, our personalities can be expressed with colors. Var's red, X is blue, Meso, you're just plain gray, Viper,
I'm just
you're like...
gray.
Are you just basing people's colors off what's in their avatar? Is that what you're doing right now? Var, you're red, and X is blue. Messa, you're Elder, you're yellow.
I was
Viper, I think
totally
you're
gonna
kind of a
say yellow,
black.
and I don't even remember
I'm
my own
gray
avatar.
and Kyle.
You're literally just listing off the colors of our avatars.
That wasn't my intention either.
Wait,
That's all
what
you're
color was
doing.
Viper?
You never
I
got
didn't get
her
to her
because
yet.
you shut him down.
I was gonna say Viper was like magenta.
Yeah, sure you were.
What kind of colour is
I
magenta?
was.
I don't even know what magenta is. Use normal colours. Jeez.
Wait for this voice you're doing. I don't like it.
This voice is hilarious.
I'm glad you don't like it.
Okay, so listen. Why are we so mad at each other, guys?
Viper got injected with
mad. I ain't
testosterone
even
before
mad.
getting in the recording.
Why are we so mad?
I ain't even mad,
Mess
bro.
with- really, we could do like
You saying
NPR.
I'm mad is making me
We could do
mad,
like
bro.
What's really
Nothing's
the
wrong.
problem
Nothing.
here?
I don't know. Meso.
Listen,
Meso.
here's the
Today we're
problem.
gonna
You
talk
want
about
to know what the problem is?
the
I'll
Merlin
list out
Mann
the problem
interview
right now. We
and
were
the
supposed to write a
bionicle
freaking transcript for Merlin Mann's interview.
Oh no,
here we go.
don't do it, don't do it.
Okay.
Here
The
we
interview
go.
is
Let's
2
go over this.
hours
Let's do this.
long. We had to
Here
write
we
a
go.
transcript for it, so we decided, okay, guys, let's all split up the parts so that we can all handle it out evenly. It ended up just basically being me and Meso that did the whole thing, and then Kai had to step in because LJ didn't do anything.
Hey, kick him on. I did.
Yeah, no, you did do a good part. Kai stepped up when
30
LJ
minutes.
didn't.
I did like an
Okay,
hour.
first of all,
Sorry.
I stepped up perfectly well and fine. I did my 20 minutes. Unfortunately,
You did the wrong
Meso
part!
did the exact same 20 minutes that I so happened to choose to do.
No, LJ, you make it seem like you guys did it at the same time and you just happened to choose the same part. Meso had done that part 2 days earlier.
You have no proof for that? That's not
It's
admissible
on
in court.
Dropbox. What do you mean I have
Do
done
you
it?
have
On
evidence
Dropbox,
for that,
you
Var?
can check the logs for what's uploaded to
Look.
Dropbox.
It got done. It's our
You know,
first
honestly,
foray
I
into
know
transcript
exactly.
thing.
I know exactly
No
what
thanks
our
to
issue
LJ.
is. I think we've just been playing too much Destiny and we're all stressed out because some things
We
are
got
very...
the job done. You didn't.
Have you guys played the DLC?
Yes, the
It's
DLC
not
is
us
great.
stressed out. You didn't
It's
do
like-
stuff.
Is
It's
Prison
like
of
we had.
Elders is rough stuff.
It's like we did the transcript for part 1. LJ was supposed
Like-
to do the final part. He never touched it. He didn't do anything. He just disappeared. So we were like, okay, fine. I guess I'll just do that part. So we did that part. Transcript 1 went up. Part 1 went up. And then LJ was going to make up his slack by working on part 2. And he worked on the wrong part.
Oh.
You did the wrong
He
section.
worked on the part that was already
No
done.
one
did
came
it,
out
bro.
with
We had
it.
all
Bar,
the
like
time.
Bar was on the chat. He was like, "LJ, you did the wrong part," and we were like, "LJ," and he was
Yeah,
shaking
because I was
he
up
spent
all night working on
doing that
something I
one
thought
part.
was going to be very helpful and productive. You know what? Here, look at it this way, Var. Instead of me not doing my part, it was me giving you writer's credit to a higher degree.
Nice.
No
Spinning
one
it
came
round.
looking out of that one.
Writer's credit.
No, that's not
writer's
nice at
credit
all.
to a higher degree.
You
Right.
made me
Credit?
do
Are you
more
kidding
work
me?
than I needed to do.
Yeah, now
I gave you credibility, Var.
yeah.
I am absolutely frustrated
the
with you right
genius
now.
transcripting
Me
skill.
and
it's
Bar
all-
had
it's
to
all
pick
you
up
got.
the slack. That was just how it
The
ended up.
past couple of episodes have started with someone getting angry at someone else and possibly
'cause
starting
LJ's
a
a
fist fight
moron!
with them.
It's
You know
funny though, because like last week, Var was praising me. He's
because-
like, you know, LJ and I have been working so hard on this, that, and the other thing. This week, he's tearing
No,
into me.
okay, listen here. Real talk.
Just
No one else does anything. Me and LJ are the only people that are doing videos, and then Meso occasionally.
I
Actually,
know.
Meso does stuff.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm not even
never
gonna
boils
like
down to-
fight because it's true.
Yeah, it's like there's like a couple main series of the channel right now. It's recaps, TTV talks, and the podcast. And the
I
podcasts
just-
are like a joint effort between me and Var, with Var doing most of the work, and then recaps LJ totally does well. And there's like nothing really.
I
Vin,
just
Vin does the
watched-
mock spotlight, but he
Vin
hasn't
does
done
do
it
the
for a
mock
while.
spotlight, but he's never around to contribute to anything else.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
like-
sit
it's
and
funny
watch
though. Like,
you guys work in the chat, and I'm just like, I wish I could do something more, but I'm just too
Yes.
lazy.
two things.
Viper,
If
you're
this were a
fired.
Disney movie, you'd break out in
Sorry.
song. You'd break out in song. And second of all, Ven didn't
If
even
it
know
was
we had
not for,
interviewed
like, the
Merlin Mann
vulgarity.
until
Yeah, it
we
was funny.
had the first part up.
Vin came on Skype and he was like, and
that's
he didn't
pretty-
even
that's
see the
pretty
first
funny.
part. He ran up in chat. He was like, "When are you guys interviewing Merlin Mann?" And it's like, "We did it last week."
Yeah, he didn't even know we were going to do it either. Like he was like, "Oh,
Oh,
Merlin,
okay.
when are you
And he
guys
was
gonna
like,
be?"
"Whoa, where have I been?"
Yeah, where have I been? Jeez.
What planet have I been on?
Yeah, then he made it
Yeah.
up to us. He came on last that
It's
night.
like
and
that
played
gif
GTA
from the
when he was gone.
college, community thing. That's like a episodic kind of comedy sketch thing where the guy walks in with a box of pizza.
Oh, you mean Community?
Yeah,
That's all you had to say.
Oh yeah. Except
the guy
Oh,
with the
yeah.
scary looking face when he's
I
shot.
know that GIF. It's like iconic.
Yeah, he like walks in, there's someone on fire in the background, someone's like checking out
Community's a
someone because
great
they're
show.
like half dead on the floor. And he's just looking around like, what?
And then he walks.
I mean, no, that's
They're now like a Yahoo exclusive, and it's actually
that's
really
not
good.
really Venom though. That's more like if Var or Meso left for a week and then came
Don't
back.
talk about me.
Keeney always used to do that. He would like be gone for his month-long breaks, and then he'd come back. And we were like fighting, or there was like some big argument, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, now I remember." He would always
come back in the middle of a drama, and he'd always try to intervene.
Keeney would always come back during the middle of an argument.
You weren't even here for anything.
It's like he's got the most ironic timing ever. If there happens to be a fight going on, Keeney can like smell it from miles away.
I think he just has like
Canadian
spider
winds.
But
I sense a fight coming on. I gotta get on.
He's like my.
A storm is coming.
And you know what?
My debate
Kahi
sense
is the exact reverse. If there's any kind of event, like if we're on a Minecraft server or we're getting stuff done, Kahi's gone.
Yeah.
Like if we're having fun, Kahi's just vanished.
I'm always, whenever I leave, something terrible will generally happen. Like, whenever, like the last time, there's one point where I was gone for this one episode you guys did, and then everything just kind of like fell apart, and it was like a huge deal. And it always happens whenever I'm gone.
Well, whenever I go on holiday for a week, I am like almost certain that something's gonna happen while I'm not there. And I come back and my Skype almost explodes.
Nothing ever happens, it's just we talk a lot and there's a ton of messages.
We talk an ungodly amount.
Well, recently there's been a lot of like that stuff that's happened when I come back off holiday.
I would love if there was like a statistic you could check on Skype of like the amount of messages in one conversation.
I'm
sure Microsoft absolutely not, just because we use Skype in a way that Skype was just not intended to be used.
Pretty much.
We have like all of our interaction, all of our communication, all of our business work, all of our planning, all of our just playing video game stuff on one single chat on Skype between like 8 people.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Well, I will not check Skype for a day, come back and there's like 4,000 messages or something. And it takes my computer like 20 minutes to stop freezing before all the messages are finally loaded. It's ridiculous.
My computer
quickly.
just went.
And I mentioned this before, like, if I ever try to open up my mobile Skype using my actual account, my phone's gonna be bricked.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It'll try to load up all of those messages, and it just can't do it.
Yeah, that's what used to happen to me on my Skype phone and iPad.
Do it with
and
mobile Skype.
Like, my iPad was frozen for, like, 2 hours.
And it's funny, because you're only in one chat. You're only in one of our chats.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got, like, 10 chats.
Yeah, I remember...
Ones.
There's a picture on my Twitter of it.
The message board chat, the news chat.
There's a picture of my...
The on-air chat, the money chat, the business chat. I guess the money chat and the business chat are the same thing. I don't feel like it's meant for group conversations the way we do group conversations. Like, it's meant for, like, people to get on and, like, talk after, talk to your parents,
basically.
I think
We've been doing it for 5 years.
At one point, it might have been meant to do that.
Yeah, it's like my family who live in America. I talk to them every like once 6 months and have a good Skype call with them with webcam. And they're like, "Oh, look at you! You've grown so much." And I'm just like, "Aw."
They're all grannies.
Can I mention something that I've had to deal with?
I wish I could visit them.
Go for it. What's going on with you,
Go for it.
Because your conversation with your grandparents just reminded me of the most frustrating thing that I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh, that was so intended.
Oh no, this ought to be good.
I mean, it's not good. It's just like
the worst thing
my
ever.
My dad called me this week, like on Monday, asking, like, he had somehow glitched up his computer, and he wanted me to fix it over phone.
What?
Oh my god. Okay.
And this is a guy. This is a guy who only recently just started touching a computer after computers have been out for like a decade now. So he's got no clue what he's doing at all.
A decade.
Well,
computers have been out for a bit more
whatever.
than a decade.
It doesn't matter. But it's just like, and then like he doesn't even remember his freaking email or his password. He's got like 10 emails, and I'm just like, why are you doing this? So I helped him get into it, and then he calls me again the next day for more help, and I'm like, so I help him again. I kid you not, he has called me for the past 5 days in a row trying to get me to help his computer, and each time it's taken 3 hours. 3 hours. I mean, just sitting there being like, yeah, that just click the X button. The X button at the top right,
the big red button at the corner. Press
the right,
it.
not the left. Yeah, that one. You just move the mouse I mean, the cursor thing. Yeah, that's the mouse. Move that to the top right!
Oh my goodness.
It was like that 3 hours for 5 days in a row! Oh!
Var, it's bonding, okay?
It's not bonding, it's annoying!
You
And
keep-
my grandparents do it too. My grandparents will call me asking me to fix their computer. And I'm just like, why are you even using a computer? Just stop. There should be a ban. People over the age of 40 who have never touched a computer in their lives should not be allowed to buy a computer.
I started charging family members now, and then they're like, "Oh, we need you to fix this." I'm like, "Okay, sure, but you have to pay me more of a minimum wage."
Wow.
Because like people have this is somebody's job. Like people do this as a job. So
it is quite possibly
you know.
the most frustrating. Like every time I finish in the call, I'm just in a fit of rage.
Yeah,
It's
but,
funny though, 'cause, like,
it's like I've just wasted 3 hours of my life that I could have done in like 5 minutes had I just been there.
you know, it's weird
believe
that you
it or
say all
not,
that
my
because
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Believe it or not, my
Go ahead.
granddad is actually very tech savvy,
Good for him.
and he's like
a good granddad.
70.
Like, I mean, that's the
Nice.
thing. You're never really old until you start letting society pass you by. That's when you really
Oh,
start
his
to
opinions
age.
are quite
Oh,
traditional, but
that-
other than
very
that,
deep.
like he knows how to.
Var
like,
busting
start a
out the
computer.
wise words of wisdom.
you're not old until you see the world start to pass
Right.
you by.
I mean, if you start to
Man.
sit passive and letting everything go by without interacting with it, then of course you're gonna get old.
I
Like
think
a
we're all
hermit
really
crab.
old.
Like a hermit.
I was
crab.
thinking about Bionicle, which ended originally ended like 5 years ago.
okay, that's one of the things I wanted to say, Viper.
We're still
I want to
talking
use
about
the buzzword so we keep our viewer retention. Bionicle. All right, so what I was going to say next.
Nice.
What I was
It's
gonna
like
say
a
after
trigger
that,
word.
though-
I am
Yeah,
triggered.
Well,
yo,
no,
yo,
it's not a
Triggle.
trigger. It's not a trigger
Triggle.
word. It's a retention word. Triggle.
I think people are
tickled.
used to it by now. It's like the first 20 minutes of the episode aren't Bionicle, and then we talk about Bionicle.
I'm tickled by your Bionicle, Triggle. Yuck, yuck.
Triggle.
I am triggled.
Every day I'm triggling.
TTV episode 145 trigger warning.
But the other thing I was going to say was that it's interesting we're all bringing up all this computer and tech stuff and family members. So my younger brother, Speeder, he builds computers. He built my computer, he built his computer, he built our older brother's computer, he built our uncle's computer most recently. And my uncle, he's in a completely other state. So my younger brother, Speeder, he assembles all the parts. Uncle buys them, they get over to our house, Speeder builds it, and he sends it over. And it's easy as that. And I don't think I've ever heard of our uncle calling Speeder again.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I wish I could build computers.
It's like, I don't understand. Maybe it's like a direct blood relative. That's the kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it skips a generation.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I think it's just some people just don't know how to handle technology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
And
if
they kind of take it for granted that
if you
there's
wait to learn how it works until it's already advanced to the point where it's just that common, it's like, well, now you're left behind.
Now
and you
you're
have
in
no clue what
trouble.
you're doing.
I only learned how it worked in
And
2007.
this is not a knock against old people. Even though it's mostly old people, I know several old people who are very tech savvy. I know some other younger people who could not handle a computer to
Right, and
like,
that's why
save their lives.
that's why I had to
There-
make that point that you're not truly old until you let society pass you by.
I had to make. Oh my god! I had to do a class that was just basically like basic Microsoft program usage,
Oh,
like learning how to use Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. And I was like, oh my god, this is the easiest but most boring A I've ever had to do.
yeah.
And some people did not
Like,
hold their
yeah.
head to do anything. In my computer science class, like computer programming class, the teacher had to start the class by showing people how to download
Dude,
files.
I took it.
And she was like, this is how you download the file, this is how you unzip. And this is not like a basic, this is like computer science, intro to computer programming. Like, people had to learn this before they...
I took a
Awful.
computer art class for the past semester at my college, and yeah, it was actually a pretty decent class. I learned some stuff that I didn't know of. We worked with Illustrator and Photoshop, primarily, which was fun. I really knew Photoshop like the back of my hand, but Illustrator I've never really used before.
Yeah, I have Illustrator on my iPad. I mean, it's not as good as the actual program on the computer, but it's pretty useful for drawing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that was a fun class, and I wanted to take computer art too and just continue on with that. But those classes don't exist, and I'm like, well, why? And the teacher told me straight up that It's because half the people that sign up for this class have never even touched a computer before.
What?
And I'm just like, why did you sign up for a class?
Okay. So you're having an interview on this. It's like, so why do you want to do computer graphics, drawing art, or whatever? They're just like, oh, I've never touched a computer before. By then, you should be like, tick off the list.
Hey man, what if they just
Stick
want to
with
learn
fine
how to
art.
do
Okay.
graphics?
In their defense, if I took a pottery class in my college, I would probably go in knowing nothing about pottery. If I took a carpenting class in my college, I would go in and not know how to.
Granted.
I mean, I would know basics of like having a hammer.
When you go to
and
a
how
class,
to
that means
you
you
know.
want to learn. But with them, they don't have the
However,
basics.
Right.
The thing is, those are two
Now,
very different
however,
things.
it is
One could make the argument that computers are
Right.
such an integral part of life and society nowadays. It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things you're expected to learn, like
It is
how to
very
drive a car.
common.
It is, and that's why it's so confusing to me that I honestly don't know how people are like living a life right now without using a computer.
I'm sure
Like
a lot
once,
of people do.
I know. I'm sure a lot of people do
yeah.
it. I've got no clue how. It just seems like it'd be so boring, and they're missing out on so much. Because
But they
like I
could
mean,
probably-
my life is like integral to the computer. Everything I do,
Yeah.
it comes back to
Right.
what I'm doing on the internet.
Yeah.
So
And it's not just like playing video games or just surfing online and stuff like that. Like we do like Var, I know you know everybody here kind of basically taught ourselves how to do video editing, taught ourselves how to use Photoshop, like comics, all that stuff. I've learned myself how to do. Anything I do of writing, anything I do of like, you know, audio work, basically anything I do is done on the computer. So it's not just like it's not just a thing where you just use it just to surf the internet or just use it to like play some video games. We do a lot of stuff that traditionally, you know, it wasn't necessarily done on a computer and is done in every aspect of our life now.
Yeah, okay.
It's like our job is like revolved around the internet and working through computers and stuff. So I don't know. It's just
Our job exists
Yeah, our
because
job
of the internet.
exists
We would have
because of the
never
internet.
met each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
There's no point where we would have
I
happened to
love
meet
the
each other
internet. The
otherwise.
internet and the computers and everything have given me so much more freedom to like express creativity so much, and I feel like a lot of people come onto the internet on an alias so they can fully express themselves where they couldn't in real life.
yeah.
However-
and now this is kind of counterbalance though, or like it's like a double-edged sword when we have things like iPads and tablets coming out now, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of parents like Viper. You are the best example of this. There are a lot of parents who buy their kids these tablets thinking that they're computers, like a computer replacement.
Oh yeah.
Which, in a way, they are.
It's
Like, you can go on
sort of
YouTube and browse the
true.
internet, but with that said, you're not going to be learning certain aspects of a computer, like editing on programs or doing or even downloading things. Like we had to like walk you through some of the most basic stuff when you first got your computer.
When I was gonna get a computer this year, and I have now, but we were in a discussion of whether I should have a Mac or a PC, and a Mac is more for, you know, people who don't understand kind of like, you know, commands and things like that. Things that PCs...
Yeah, Mac is a bit more consumer friendly.
Yeah, it's a bit more friendly to people like me, but honestly, I want more freedom with my computer, whereas a PC would give me that freedom to get more programs and things like that, and, you know, just things like that, and that's why I chose a PC over a Mac. And also, Macs are really frustrating to use, from what I've used of them, so...
Yeah. But yeah, no, see, I feel like tablets, those are more of a convenience thing, and those should be bought in companion to an actual computer.
It's like a
I think-
Nintendo DS over,
Yeah.
like, an Xbox One. Like,
Yeah, and I don't think they're computer replacements, and unfortunately I think there's a lot of parents who don't really understand it and that will buy those things.
my family aren't tech savvy either.
Well, I think like most parents are unaware of the connection. Like desktops and laptops are basically the same machine, except one of them is less
Yeah.
powerful. Generally, but tablets and
Laptops.
you know, laptops are completely different beasts.
Completely
they have like their own
different
ecosystem,
form of
basically.
beast.
Yeah, which is thankfully why there are actually like Windows 8 tablets coming out now that are actually really good. Like I've had my Surface Pro 1, just
Yeah.
the first generation, for like a while now. And it's a beast of a machine.
Yeah, honestly,
Wish I had a
I
tablet.
saw an advert for the Surface, and I'm like, I try using the drawing tablet that I have for my for my computer, but I have to. I'm so used to looking at the iPad screen while I'm drawing, it kind of throws me through a loop a little.
I can only imagine how it must be like having a tablet for like the better part of your experience with the internet and then switching to a computer.
Oh yeah,
when I weird.
Funnily enough, when I was interviewed for TTV, I was using my dad's computer, but for the majority of the time, I was using my iPad. Naughty of me.
While you're like browsing the web while talking to us.
Yeah.
Well, hi guys, how's it going? Well, we're playing Minecraft right now. It's pretty awesome. You should join us on Minecraft. Oh yeah, I'll totally do that.
I remember that first interview when I played Tetris Friends.
Yeah, that's fun. That's how we interview people.
Everybody, that's how you join TTV. On the interview, you play Tetris Friends with us.
And if you don't beat us, you don't get to be a part of the crew. That's the way it goes.
The first 5 minutes of that interview, I was like afraid. So I was really afraid. I was sweating, and I was like,
I think we could pick up on
my
it.
left
That's
leg
why
was
we
twitching.
improvised.
My left leg was twitching uncontrollably. So
interviews are scary things, man. They're scary.
It was so bad that my laptop was like
scary.
bouncing on my knee because my leg was twitching that badly. And then by the end of it, I was just having a good old laugh playing Tetris Friends.
Yeah, it was a fun interview. So wait a minute, you're telling me that you were on our interview talking with us on a computer, but you were browsing the internet on your on your tablet?
No,
Way to pay attention to us.
No, that's not
what I'm saying.
I just find it
funny that you're literally using a computer, but you're using another object to browse the internet when you have a computer.
No, that's not what I was saying.
That just seems funny to me.
I said that I was using my dad's laptop, for a period, and then his laptop broke, so I started using the iPad.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's what I was saying. Gee, okay. There's no way I could distract myself during that interview.
Okay, here's the thing in Pro for tablets and phones and stuff as replacements for computers. Well, not replacements, but for those objects, there's definitely a lot less troubleshooting that you have to do. A lot can go wrong with a computer.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a large discrepancy as far as ease of use goes. So those are definitely easier to use. And with a computer, so much can go wrong, and it can be really frustrating, especially if you're not used to fixing it yourself.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What's the time? Okay. Bionicle. Continue.
Okay, yeah. With that said, we should probably actually get some Bionicle discussion.
Yeah. How was the Merlin Mann interview?
Oh my gosh!
The Merlin Mann
I know he's
interview
gonna hear
was
this.
wonderful.
He's probably gonna hear this. Merlin Mann is so cool.
Shout out to
I was
Merlin
listening to the
Man.
interview and I was like,
Shout
man,
out.
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, a lot of the comments were saying that too, and it's absolutely true. Obviously, we didn't record all of our interaction with Merlin Mann. We only recorded the actual interview part, but I mean, we talked to him in the call for a little bit. But he was really, really cool. I really enjoyed talking to him. Very, very insightful guy. All of his answers to all of our questions were really, really cool, really in depth. And he had a really great personality too.
Yeah.
So it was easy doing a video with him because he was just able to handle his own.
It was by far the
he's
easiest
kind of
interview
guy,
we've ever done.
I can imagine us just playing Tetris Friends with him.
Yeah.
I
He's the kind of guy who's
I
like,
did think
Kuma's
as
RPG.
much as I want to talk to him again, especially once the summer wave ends, it would be kind of cool to see if he just not in the interview form, but just be a guest on the podcast, because that's a whole different dynamic as opposed to being an interview, you know?
Yeah.
That
And
is.
he seems like a cool guy.
He was really cool. Really, really, really cool. It was fun talking to him.
Yeah, it sounded like you were all having fun with the interview. Cause,
Yeah.
honestly,
we were...
I had basically yesterday. I was part of a TV station thing as a little experience thing, and we had to interview this band.
Nice.
And it was so awkward because they just did not want to be there, and they were so bored. And thankfully, I wasn't interviewing them. I was actually the sound person at the back. But just watching from all the cameras about how bored they were made me feel really bad for the interviewer.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it was really easy to get into this interview because at the start, we were all really nervous. At least I was. I'm sure everyone else was too.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We hadn't done it in a while.
felt the
Last one we'd done
situation.
was Greg Farsty.
What when I was?
Yeah.
We hadn't done one in a while. The last one was Greg Farsty, so.
And the worst part for me was that I had watched our past interviews before we got into a call, and I just realized that how bad we were in our last interviews and how boring, and really unprofessional they were. So I was really, really nervous, but it was fine as soon as we got into a call, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm kind of in awe here."
Yeah.
Aw.
Literally, all my nervousness like just went away.
Yeah, it's funny because like we started the call, we brought him in, and we were chatting it up, discussing, doing this, that, and the other thing beforehand. He comes in and everyone's quiet. Everyone quiets down. He's like, well, hello, and message, hi. Kahi, he's not saying a thing. I'm like, come on, guys, why'd you guys get so quiet?
Man.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. No, don't try to paint yourselves as that guy.
No, seriously,
that's the
absolutely.
most
I did not
bullshit.
say
That's
skip
not how
of
it
a beat.
happened at all.
He got in a call. I'm like, yeah,
That's
let's
not how it
interview him.
happened
This
at
is
all.
going to be awesome. We're
You
gonna
were
chat
just
with
as
him.
quiet as we were.
No,
You were-
I was not.
No, but no, you're
You
somehow the
absolutely
people
were.
person of a group.
Like,
yeah,
during-
the only thing you said was, "Come on, guys, why'd you get so quiet?" Just to distance yourselves from also being quiet. But you were
Yeah.
quiet too.
You,
No way.
LJ, you weren't the guy who just stood in front of all the little group huddled in the corner and held out your hand for a handshake.
Listen, when you're meeting
Yeah,
a new person, sometimes you just don't know what to say. It's not necessarily a nervous thing. It's not like we were just like, okay, what oh god, what's gonna happen?
We were
It's just-
prepared.
Yeah, it's just like there's not
were
much to
just-
say at that point. We just had to go ahead and
Right.
introduce ourselves, and then you can.
This is
start
the point
discussion.
where, again, if we were meeting in real life, we could have broken the ice, given the handshakes, introduce ourselves, and we did end up introducing ourselves. But like, it was just a thing where whenever you first meet a person, you kind of have to get a grasp of the situation. You don't
No,
want to be.
You
off
absolutely
putting.
have to, because there are so many
Right.
times where I've met like a new group of people, and I just feel awful because they are already interacting and having a fun time. I don't like that. I would
Right.
rather we all go ahead and just break the ice, shake hands, get to know each other, and then we can all have a fun time. Because
I've done
otherwise,
that
you just
before.
feel completely left out.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like I've gone to a house and met a group of people, and it's like I try and interact and whatnot. Never ends up working out. It's so weird. I know what you're saying. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
But no,
I
Merlin Mann was
usually-
great. He was certainly, he lived up to the man.
Yeah. It was also daunting. He mentioned that like he had become immersed in the community and he'd gone back and listened to our podcast.
That was
history.
Oh
awesome.
boy.
That was awesome.
Like, first of all, that's awesome.
That was
That's a great
amazing.
compliment that anyone would ever do that. But also, considering our quality early on,
It's terrifying.
That is true.
It's also a little terrifying.
It is funny because we were really young when we first started out, and our quality was really bad. So
It's steadily improved, but even up to episode 90, I'd say it isn't where we wanted it to be.
Honestly, if you're joining us now for the first time, this is the first podcast you're listening to, I'm sorry. But also, our podcast is not worth listening to under episode 100. I don't think any of our first 100 episodes are really worth listening to.
Ouch, what a condemnation.
90's okay, but also with the first 100 episodes, we also had a very unstable cast. Like, we'd have people that would jump in and then jump out.
For no
Sometimes
real
people-
reason, and we didn't publicize our casting, so we would just bring on
Yeah.
people for
And-
no real reason.
This was
we had
before-
like random guests. We'd have like guest members from BZ Power too, who really had nothing to do with our podcast.
Yeah.
This
And
was
at
also-
the time, back then, at the time, we thought they were real big cheese. Because at the time, BZ Power was very big. It was basically a central hub. So we
Right.
have these community members on. It's like, wow, we've hit the gold here.
Yeah, remember when we used to interview comic makers on
Yes.
BZ Power as if they were like super famous people?
Well, at the time, they were like Dark 709.
In our subculture
In
that
our
we were
in our
immersed in.
small little hub, they were. But
It's
when you
interesting.
look at it now with us on YouTube with 17,000 subscribers, it's just like that is such a small scale. Like those people were famous to like maybe like 30 viewers.
It's very funny how things scale up the higher you go. Like, comic makers, they were famous in their little subculture. We're famous in our little niche audience. And
Yeah.
the more you scale up and you scale up, it gets bigger and bigger, and that's fascinating to think about. Like, then
Yeah.
you get to people like Rooster Teeth,
Right.
who are crazy, and then you go bigger than that.
And this
In fact-
is why you should realise that you're ridiculously insignificant compared to the majority of the world.
We're
pes-
all ants.
That's
just
pessimistic. I was gonna
Thanks-
say it's
thanks,
to use it as
Viper.
drive
Thanks.
to improve yourself and shoot for higher
Well, that
things.
is a
but-
drive to improve yourself
you,
if
like,
you want to be
amped it
more
up to 11.
significant.
Never,
Yeah,
no,
yes.
don't. Okay, first of all, that's bad. That's bad advice. Never do anything just to prove you're significant or try to prove something. Do it because you want to improve yourself or you. If
Wow,
you
we're getting
want
real
to do
philosophical this episode.
yeah, no. If you want to do something, you want to go work out, you want to eat healthy, do it because you want to, not because you feel like you have to.
You're gonna have to be aware that you're not like of the results, basically.
Right, exactly.
Because if you're doing it to prove it to other people, there's always a period where you're gonna work hard at something and you're not gonna see that result. You have to invest that initial time into it. So if you're looking for immediate results, you're gonna be disappointed, and you're looking to prove something to somebody immediately, you're gonna be disappointed. But once you reach that hump, once you reach that line where you don't do anything, the growth is exponential. It's not like an incline. You grow faster and faster and faster, and that's definitely with our YouTube channel. That's how it worked.
Yeah, you've got to be happy with what you're doing instead of being like, oh, you have to do this. Because, for example, if you're exercising because you feel like you have to lose more weight, then that's gonna just blow back on you, and you're gonna be like, I can't do this. But you gotta be happy that you want to do this and that you're happy.
You gotta feel good about it.
You gotta be
Otherwise,
happy.
you're not gonna do it.
You gotta be happy during the journey too. And sometimes, unfortunately,
Yeah,
that's not always the case. But a lot of the time, try and find happiness in the journey.
If you wake up in the morning and you're about to go jog and you're just like, oh, God, I don't want to do this, it's pretty likely you're going to end up not doing it.
Yep.
Right.
That's me every study day. I don't want to get up. Don't get up.
You have to want to do it for yourself as well. But yeah, obviously you do also have to have awareness when you're at a point in your life where you need to do something to improve.
Yeah.
That awareness is important as well. Self-awareness is very important. With that said, but things like YouTube channels, and for example, you shouldn't make a YouTube channel with the guys that you want to get famous. I don't think it's going to work.
No.
You should do this because you want to do it. If we were making videos just to get popular, we would not be where we are right now.
Definitely not, because the decisions we
would
made
be
would not
disappointed.
correlate.
We were not very popular when we started out.
We would be
weren't
disappointed.
popular for a very long time.
We weren't popular for the very first 4 years of our lifetime. We have only now just started actually growing in our audience. Thank you, everybody who's in our audience.
Thank you so much, guys.
Except for you people say we don't talk about Bionicle. Gosh dang it.
Yeah, but for the first 4 years, we had an audience of 80 people, and then it slowly rose to 1,000 people. I remember when we released our first Biocraft trailer, and BZ Power reported on it, and we saw on our video we had 1,000 views. And we thought
flipped out.
that was incredible.
Yeah, I remember some of the first videos I saw of you guys. There was 160 views or something like that, and I didn't join because I wanted to, be famous or get recognition. I joined because I wanted the experience, because there was that time in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I had nothing to do with outside of school. So I was like, you know what? Why not? What's bad about this if I do this?
And you went out, you did it. Now you're in a better place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to make it. I'd be a really depressed person if I.
But
I would like to
joined.
think that the reason why we caught on is because people could tell in our content that we're having fun doing it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would think so. I
It's
feel like
all
we're
about
probably
presentation.
yeah.
It's how you have an attitude about what you do. It's like people trying to get Let's Play channels popular right out the gate for no reason by playing new games or whatever. It doesn't work.
It's never going to work because you're doing Let's Plays because you want to get a lot of views.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you're gonna be disappointed when you're only getting 10 views, and then you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have to do it because
it's a grind.
Fun. Yeah, it's a grind. It takes forever to get popular, and it takes forever to get to that stage, which is why when you're starting out, you shouldn't do it just to get popular. You should do it because you enjoy making videos.
Exactly.
We would have stopped making videos a long time ago if we didn't enjoy what we were doing. We did it because it was fun.
We the closest we ever came to quitting was when BZP went down for half a year, and we just did nothing, and then we came back with a vengeance because we were like, no, we're not going to let them take us down.
Yeah, but that's because
it wasn't that. It was because we felt we lost our audience. Back then,
we lost everything.
We didn't have
a
YouTube channel.
You lost your life raft in the sea of the internet, and you
that's
had
my point.
nowhere
If it was
to go.
That was my point. It's if we were doing it to be popular, we just lost all of our audience. So why would we have come back?
Instead of letting the tide take you away, you found a bits of driftwoods and reasons to continue, and you made a new raft.
Top tier analogy. The raft.
But
now,
see,
it
wasn't even just the fact we lost our audience. We literally lost the hub of where we would post our content.
Yeah, you lost your home. You where your content belonged.
Yeah, we were basically left adrift. There was nothing to work off. So obviously we almost quit then.
But we didn't.
But then Bionicle came back, and everyone was all super happy.
And everyone
was cool.
was happy at the end.
Thank
Well, I
you,
mean,
Lego.
we did have really big concerns about, like, before Bionicle came back, like, how long are we going to be able to do this?
I
was a very
remember
big
having
concern
these
of ours.
discussions where we were like, man, I really hope Bionicle comes back, because if it does, we are going to be made for the next, like, 3 years. And lo and behold, it did.
Oh
It's
man, we got so lucky.
wonderful.
We're lucky people. Don't let anyone ever tell you that we're
No.
unlucky, except me.
The
But we're
one
very
thing
lucky
we
people.
have to our name that nobody can disagree with is our luck. With
Yeah,
the
okay.
perfect
We have a lot of luck, a
situations
lot of
happen
great
to
timing.
us at the perfect moments to get us.
Yeah,
where we
well, it's
are.
not okay. Like, yeah, we're not professional. Well, no,
No.
we are. I would say we're pretty professional people
We're,
right now.
we're semi-pro.
relative
We're-
to others,
okay.
but we
Relative
we're
to
still
other
young.
Bionicle channels, sure.
We
Yeah, but
still
like, it's
are
not like we
growing.
did. It's not like we're like master planners. We didn't stage things because we knew it was going to work out in our favor later on. We didn't like set up these things because we knew it was going to be successful. We just got really lucky.
Yeah, Lego
Yeah.
didn't come to us and say, Psst, "Hey guys, Bionicle is coming back, and here's a black and white photo of
Yeah,
this
right.
place,
That,
Sam."
the first initial leaks, they were basically dropped on our doorstep. Like, what is this? Let's
It was like a little baby in a little bunting basket.
and then like the Akodo turning dark leak that popped up on our boards. Like, we
yeah,
had,
that popped
we
up.
had no
that
clue what
literally,
that was.
Our message boards were the first place that showed up.
We had
Yeah.
like debates about whether it was even
Oh.
real. It's like, stuff happens.
We didn't tell
crazy.
Merlin Mann about that because like in
No.
the interview he was
no.
talking about
No,
that.
we-
Like,
we
my
did.
name's on
We
this
talked
stupid
about it.
document.
No, yeah, he knew. He saw that. He was like, "Oh yeah, obviously you guys knew about it because he saw that
Oh.
it came from our boards."
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he was
cool.
aware of it.
He remember he follows our channel.
Yeah,
I
Go-
can't.
like,
I keep
just
forgetting. I
tying
can't
it all
get
back
over how
in.
cool that is.
tying it all back in. Yeah, it was a very cool experience. Merlin Mann.
I want to do it again.
I think.
You know, it's really really cool though, just knowing that there are Lego employees out there that watch our stuff. Because I mean, even the
That is
Ninjago
pretty cool.
team that are working on the TV show, they watch our stuff sometimes too. Like we've got emails from them talking about our reviews.
That pulls a
And
bit
it's
of
a
pressure, though, on what we say.
Yeah,
I
kind
wouldn't
of.
say so. Honestly, to me,
Well, okay.
it just makes me feel better because it seems like they are open to
It's-
hearing our opinions regardless.
It's
Yeah,
very dangerous if you let yourself get influenced.
Yeah,
by
if
things.
you're honest, you know,
Right.
and
I like to
you're not
think
afraid
yes,
of being honest, then it's probably great. And
it is.
you
There
have
is a
to-
pressure. What matters is how you respond to it, and I like to think that we should keep to what we're doing. That they obviously watch our content. That means they enjoy it. Don't change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't let outside sources like that influence your integrity, and I think that's really important, especially to an audience that isn't part of that outside sources, like our regular subscribers who aren't part of Lego, who are just kids that have been subscribed to us for a while now because they enjoy us. We shouldn't let the higher ups affect our integrity because that in turn affects the content that those people view, and that's not fair to them.
Yeah, you
I-
should
Not
but
fair
let.
to anyone,
okay,
really.
The
Journalists.
flip side, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and saying that
Of course you
there
are.
is, of course, there's an additional thing that comes with knowing somebody, like knowing somebody is a real person, as opposed to just somebody that exists on the internet. That makes you treat that a little differently.
This. Okay, yeah. Like,
Really, it is.
I remember this
I'm saying
discussion.
that, like,
But where is this going? What argument are you trying to make here?
No, I'm saying that, like, yes,
'Cause
we
I think,
don't
of course
want
there's a
to
difference.
let. Yeah, we're not going to let this influence how we do things. We're not going to let, like, the fact that Lego people let's influence our decisions or try to sugarcoat it. However, there is a very natural thing where it comes to thinking of somebody as an abstract concept and then meeting that person in real life. Like, I know for me personally, it was a different when we interviewed Greg Farsty, as far as, thinking of this abstract person who had answered some PMs on the internet beforehand and then actually talking to him in real life. There was a separate, like,
Real life.
acknowledgement there.
That
You
is
kinda-
true. It's like,
But I
most
still don't
people-
think that should affect our integrity.
how most
Yeah.
people define.
but it
Greg
affects
is
like what you say. Like sometimes when you say stuff to people, like I could criticize an actor.
Yeah,
on
what
here,
he's saying
but if I
is
knew
that
the
he's-
actor in real life, then I would be more careful in how
Yeah.
I phrased my critique.
What he
That is
was
true.
You know what I'm
saying
saying?
is that sometimes you're honest and sometimes you're just brutally harsh to people.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, like,
because
say, like,
you feel like there's no feeling behind that name, but really, if you,
Right.
I know that to me, like, I don't like being horrible to people on the internet and being insult people on the internet because hey. I just
Nice.
simulate me going through something like that, and it's like, would I want someone being horrible to me on the internet?
I mean, here's the thing: like, if you're going to be criticizing someone, you should always do it constructively.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
constructive criticism. I'm completely fine
Like, okay.
with. But when you get people like saying you suck with absolutely no reason behind it,
Right. Well,
yeah.
there's a lot of stupid people that do that. But let's be real here. If you're going to be criticizing something, you should have a good reason to criticize it, and you should always be constructive about it, whether you think that person's listening or not.
Oh,
There's a stupid thing that people do in the internet where they think they're hidden behind this screen and they'll just say stuff, never really assuming that people are going to see it. But you shouldn't just be a jerk just to be a jerk. You should always do stuff constructively.
You know, I think I'm the only one here who
I
hasn't
agree with that
gotten a chance to get like an analogy out. So it's like this. It's like, say you're a rattlesnake out in the wilderness, and you're talking to your rattlesnake buddies, and you're talking about biting a human, and you're like, well, I could kill that human. And all your rattlesnake buddies are like, yeah, you could kill that human. We could kill that human. But it's an abstract concept. But when you're actually there about to bite the human, it's like, well, I could kill this human with my bite.
Get to the point, please.
LJ, you amaze me.
Do you always just have this, like, do you have a checklist for every episode? Like, okay, now's the time I gotta say something stupid. Check.
I am saying something philosophical.
Check.
Like, even think?
Well, snakes have a brain, so yes, they do think.
I don't even know what
Yeah,
you
but like, ants are like robots. So, does that mean that snakes are kind of like that too?
Fair enough.
I'm not the only one with a
Like,
checklist.
they're not really
Alright,
like
alright.
robots, but they're kind of like robots.
Well, their community is like based around like simple brain chemical orders. So
Yeah.
kind of.
So it's like
They're
But
just
a snake
triggled.
doesn't go, my queen is summoning me, and all of them like summon to the center
Well,
of the desert.
actually,
No, it's not.
there's
My
a very
queen
specific-
is triggling me.
It's a very
Robot
specific type of
Nazis?
snake that does that.
they're like a regime thing going on.
Okay, listen. The thing about Nazis is not that they had a regime. The thing about Nazis is that they're freaking racist, and they kill people because they were racist.
Have you ever seen like an ant farm where there's other things than ants? No.
Why are they on the farm then?
Robotic ant Nazi regime.
You're not part of the cool kids club. You're exile.
Well, a buffalo isn't going to go over to a pride of lions and be like, I want to be in your pride.
So before we were like, how should we treat people when talking about them on the internet? So like, are ants really Nazi robots or aren't they? That's like 0 to 60 in 2 minutes. Or 2 seconds.
I blame X. Whenever X is on, we always do this. We always go on random tangents.
It's great. It's funny.
All right, well, okay. My last point is just basically that there is. I'm not going to deny that, like, some people say, oh, you rephrase something differently whenever you meet someone in person. There is a form of critique where it's easier to talk about somebody when you're not aware of them. And when you are aware of them, when you're talking directly to them, unless
Unless you're a
anybody
complete
just
jerk.
with their friends. Like, I feel like, I can't be the only one who will say something about my friends, and then when it's not like I'll shy away from what I said, but I'll rephrase it, in a way that
It's
makes
less
it more
offensive
acceptable.
and more.
So it's kind
I
of
think
less
that's
offensive and more constructive.
important. I think that while that is important for like content creators such as ourselves, it's also more important, that kind of logic, for the fan base at large. Because up until now, Bionicle 2015, if you didn't like Bionicle 2015, if you didn't like the animations, most people who aren't that knowledgeable about who does what like we are, just had a very vague writer to like throw their hate at.
I feel like
Actually,
maybe
I noticed
maybe
this.
the writer, maybe
I
the narrator.
noticed this.
It's like, oh, the writers suck,
what I'm-
or like whatever.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
There is absolutely an example of this, even in our interview comments, where like, if you like, I think there was a comment on our post on TTVpodcast.com where we uploaded the interview, and someone said, "Hey, can you ask them why they decided to go with those little scribbles they made in their when they were bored and use that as an animation style?" Like that is like a super negative comment that's not constructive at all.
And I don't think they would have said that if they were actually part of this interview. If they were talking to them, they wouldn't have phrased it like that. They might say like, what made you decide to go with this style that wasn't so, they would rephrase it in a way, basically. And that's what I think. It's like there's this kind of mentality where this is just as a human, you're not able to be aware of everybody. So some people you're just not aware of. You're not aware of them as a human. They're like a concept on the internet that you sometimes get mad at.
And that is
as a
very,
fan
very
who has
evident
been able
in like
to
fandoms.
have this privilege.
It is.
Right. As a fan who's able to have this privilege of interacting with these people, I've noticed this shift in my mentality, and I feel like it's important that we address it as a sort of like, if you do see us say something in an episode, and then when we interview somebody, say it a little differently, that happens to anybody. That's part of.
We're not trying to like employees watch us, so we try to make our criticisms a bit more constructive.
That's a
we're not
big
trying
thing.
to like
Even when I go off on a hate
say.
tangent, I tie it all back around to I hate because I care.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think as far as the fandoms go, because Messi, you mentioned that this is pretty prevalent in just fandoms in general, and I absolutely agree. I think it's also this point where now kids are basically being born into the internet.
Yeah.
Where they're born and like they're 2 years old and they already have an iPad. They're already on YouTube making comments and stuff when they're like
Ultron.
3, which is pretty.
So that's why the YouTube comments are so.
Yes, that is absolutely why, because YouTube is literally infested with like 3-year-olds. Let's be real here.
Not
be real.
literally.
Yeah.
Not literally infested with 3-year-olds.
Well, okay, fine.
Three-year-olds?
Yeah, fine.
Not-
I was trying to use literally as emphasis, but no, YouTube is infested with 3-year-olds because everyone has an iPad, everyone has a cell phone, and I think there's this issue nowadays where kids are being born into the internet but not being taught how to interact on the internet. So there's this overbearing sense of negativity, overbearing sense of criticism, and just no one really thinks about who they're talking about because no one's been taught to think like that. I think parents should actually teach their kids how to interact with people in a constructive way on the internet, because right now kids are just going around insulting anything they can because they're not thinking about it, and they grow up with that mentality, and then you just have jerks on the internet.
Yeah, and then you just have
I think there's also a thing too where it's
Yeah, in real
harder
life.
because humans are physically capable of only really recognizing about 200 people. Like they're physically capable of only really being aware of around 200 people. So it's easier when you get on the internet, when you interact with more than 200 people, in order to get this kind of distance, this almost
How do you pull that
sociopathic. It's how
arbitrary number?
sociopaths basically distance themselves from like humanities, that they view people like we view people on the internet.
Yeah, where
we
did you get
treat
this 200
people in
number?
real
I'm
life
curious.
different than how we do. on the
I'm
internet.
curious how you arrived at humans are only aware of 200 people.
It's
Well, no,
true.
that's been.
I heard
it's
I'm not saying
That's
you're wrong.
scientific
I'm
based
just
on the
like,
monkey
I'm
sphere.
curious.
It's
Okay,
not.
the idea is that,
that's a very breezy way of saying that we as people, as humans, and this has been like studies have been done and whatnot. We're only capable of being aware of around 200 relationships that we are involved in.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah, I heard something with
it's
similar
like,
lines of 200 and knowing something when it comes to people.
It's the monkey sphere.
Yeah.
You ever hear the phrase like, 1 is a tragedy and 1,000,000 is a statistic? Do you ever hear that phrase?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
heard that phrase.
Yeah, I have.
Right.
Yeah,
It's the
Well,
idea
I
that
haven't
like,
heard it, but I
when a
understand
tragedy
it.
happens, like, if you show one starving kid in Africa on a commercial, then that's a tragedy. But if you say 6 million people are starving in Africa, that's like it's so big that your brain just can't
Your
comprehend
brain can't
that many
comprehend it.
individual people. Right. So it's
Like
so
too many 5 me.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's why if you go
you don't have enough emotion to emote towards like 16,000 people.
Right.
You can't
you
comprehend.
can't emphasize. You can't empathize with that many people. So
Yeah.
that kind of stepping back, that kind of limit that we have, I feel invests itself in the internet much more because you're able to interact with so many people that you probably will not really see again, and you just don't think of them as people. You don't have their relationship to think of them as.
and that puts
actual
us in
people
an
as you're
interesting position
conditioned
too, especially
does.
with us as
Right.
content creators and then our fandoms. That
We care about
to. Right,
all of you.
Exactly.
no, we don't.
we
can't.
That is
can't.
very
We
physically
physically
incapable.
can't.
That is
As
literally
tough
what
as
we
it
are
is to
saying
say,
right now. Is
We
that you-
care about
yeah,
as
can't-
many people as we physically can, which I guess is only 200.
which is about
So-
200.
First 200 people.
Only the 200 people on our message
Well,
boards
I mean-
actively.
I mean, think about it, man. So, like, we always see the people who comment on our videos. That's about around 100 or 200 comments. Those we
Right,
interact
right.
with. Those we can actually acknowledge. But when you see the number for the views on our video, it's like 5,000 people. You don't care. That's a statistic. That's a
More
number.
than that, I always say, like, obviously, I'm grateful for all of the subscribers we have. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. You guys are awesome, and thank you for subscribing.
I think they
But
understand.
16,000 people don't watch every one of our video. It's like it's like a mass of individuals that's difficult to separate.
Right.
It's weird to think about that those are 17,000 almost real people who are subscribed to our channel. And we
Yeah,
don't
we've had
see
that
them
discussion
regularly.
before on a podcast once. But I was just going to say, like, that puts us in an interesting position as content creators, because when you think about it, if you're a viewer watching something, especially like our podcast, for example, you're just a normal person who is subscribed to our channel watching our videos. You're getting to know us all very, very personally. We always put out our opinions on our podcast.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, you're able to know us almost as friends. And that's an interesting position because, like, say we were to meet up in real life. There's this person here who's watched all your videos. They basically see you as a friend. They know everything
about you. Yeah.
However, on the other end, as the content creator, that person's just another number in
Just
that
a stranger.
5,000. Yeah, in that 5,000 realm of people. So it's like, to that person, we're like best buddies, but to us, he's just a normal person. He's just a stranger. We've never heard him before ever. And that is a really interesting position.
That's a big thing.
I think that's with a lot of actors
it's a thing
and
where,
things like that. Like, you watch their films and you see their video games and whatever, and you read their books or whatever, and you know so much about them, but they know little to nothing about you. No?
Yeah.
She has a book. It's called Viper, the autobiography of how I snuck into TTV as a...
And I
the
think
story of Viper dies in it at the bottom. Sorry.
And
Game management joke.
obviously that root issue goes even deeper with certain people. Like, that's why there's, like, celebrity stalkers and stuff. Like, people become obsessed with other people, and they're just like, who are you? Why are you following me? It's because, like, things like that. And I think it's kind of hard for some people to realize that to them, you're, like, the best friend, but to that person, you're nobody. And that's a weird thing to think about.
It's
and
like
it's kind of a hard thing to comprehend.
Yeah,
you invest a lot in that relationship in a way, and then that, you know, like I know for me,
you're investing your
podcasts.
time into that person, but they don't know it.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a stranger comes up to you and starts talking to you as if they know you very well, and then they start following you. Like, that'd be threatening to anybody if a stranger started following you places. That's how it feels for celebrities, because they don't know you personally. And they don't hate you, it's just that it's not a balanced relationship between the two people.
Yeah. Life is very interesting.
Yeah.
And to tie it all back in together...
Life is strange.
Our content is not going to be influenced necessarily, in the sense that we're not going to sugarcoat opinions or
listen,
whatnot.
if we dislike something, we'll say it.
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear our podcast on the Somersets? We were very, very negative.
We didn't hear the end of it from our fans regarding that subject either.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, really? We can't dislike something? Come on, guys.
Yeah, honestly, it's nothing wrong with disliking something. It's just sometimes people like me get very irrational about it, and I know I get very irrational sometimes and end up getting very emotionally revved up by something I don't like, and that's when...
because when people disagree with you, for you, it almost feels like you're being like your opinions are being challenged.
Yeah.
When someone disagrees with you, and I think that's a really that's a deep psychological thing that a lot of people have. Pretty much everyone has.
INFP problem.
They're tied into your opinions. Well, I'm saying, I guess the kind of fact that I'm saying is that our base opinions, we're not going to shy away from just because people listen to our stuff, but I actually disagree with you a bit, Meso, because I think that we probably would sugarcoat what we're saying. And, like, not necessarily... Like, sugarcoating is not the same as, like, backing off our opinion. Sugarcoating is trying to, do it...
Well, to be fair, Kai, you're the only one who ever plays devil's advocate on the podcast.
Yeah, you're kind of a jerk, Kai. You're not the person that I'd want you to be a fan of me.
Like, we always say negative things, and then you're the one who pulls up the role like, well, obviously we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
It's like that meme face when he, like, holds up his hand with the finger, and he's like,
I'm saying that
some of us might be emphasized by it.
If we had the set designers in that episode, we wouldn't have said everything we said to the degree of negativity that we said it with.
I would have, but like you've already established,
I'm not saying we wouldn't be negative.
I'm
saying that we would critique them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If they would have been rephrased, they would have been sugarcoated. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If that's how you choose to interpret the word, fair enough.
It's hard because there's a fine line between, being polite and being honest, and
that's a basic thing, being polite, right?
Exactly.
You can be honest and polite at the same time.
Exactly.
That's what Kai is saying.
Right.
We would be our opinions wouldn't necessarily be changed, but they would be sugarcoated in a way that it's not mean-spirited. It would be politer.
That actually reminds me of one thing. We've gotten into an argument with certain members of the message boards who have been honest but very brutally
Rude.
honest, like very
Yep.
rude and snide and
So
cynical.
And that's
And,
annoying.
and then they pass it off by saying, "Well, I'm just being honest." Also, when did this podcast become about being philosophers and mind tinkers?
Special
it's
episode.
like it's a message, I guess. It's a thing where like we are not used to being in a position where like the Merlin Mann that surprised us so much. We're not used to being in this position where people that we respect have also known about us. Usually we're a thing where like we've just been fans and we come up to people and we ask them and they're gracious enough to do it with us. But this has been a time where people like we are now aware of our audience in a way that we have this certain without
not
trying to
been
sound
before.
pretentious, we have a degree of power now. Our words have weight, more weight than we did as
Wow.
a fan. And
Okay.
because people watch us, people listen to our opinions more than they would, just a general person. I don't mean that sound pretentious in the way that like we're saying our opinions are better. Just more people hear them because we have a channel that a lot of people watch. That's an undisputed fact. More
Are
people
you
hear
saying
our
Well,
that more
does it-
people are going to hear the theory about
Please
Makuta?
stop saying stupid things.
Well, there's a difference between what you think of yourself and what you actually are. So
Well, I guess so. I mean, what we're trying to say is that we're putting
You're
this
totally
in
right.
perspective right now as how we are as content creators and how
Yes.
we have to be
Yes,
aware
yes,
of
yes.
this now, basically.
All right, thank you, Dr. Phil.
To put an end to the discussion, I think both Meso and Kahi are right. We're not just because Lego employees watch our channel doesn't mean it's going to affect our integrity. We're still going to be honest about what we say. However, yes, we will sugarcoat it, as Kahi said. We're going to put it into a way that is constructive and not mean spirited,
We're gonna be
which
nice
is what you
people.
should be doing.
it's what you should do
regardless.
anyway.
Yup.
And the
And
fact
also,
that-
I'm very glad
well,
that we
clarify.
like
That
had
is
the
putting an end to the
opportunity.
discussion.
Okay, yeah. I was
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
say, like, I'm glad to cap it all off. I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk to Merlin Mann, and hopefully he gets less hate now that people actually know what his role is in Bionicle, and they can appropriate their criticisms appropriately. Because, like, up till now, Merlin Mann's been viewed as the Greg Farshty of the new Bionicle, which simply isn't the case. He is not to blame for all the decisions which you do not like.
Yeah.
He is a screenwriter, and I'm glad we have
With
had the
that
chance
said,
to inform
though,
people. of
now
that.
people do have a face to direct their criticism at. So
Exactly, it's a double-edged sword, putting yourself out in the public eye
Well,
like
maybe
that, but I'm
maybe
glad
his
he did.
decoy can soak up some of that.
I'm sure. I am absolutely sure his decoy has.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, I swear, like, seriously, I looked that guy up, and I'm like, wow, he runs a podcast too. We're gonna have so much in common to talk about.
I mean, LJ, it's hard for me to believe that you seriously thought that that was him, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
we've
is
been
hard.
interacting with Merlin Mann for like the past year on Twitter. We know who he is. We know that wasn't
LJ
him.
hasn't.
I mean, I went to Twitter. I did. And I looked at Merlin Mann's Twitter page, and the first thing that tipped me out was the avatar, because I see his avatar on the sidebar on the main page of TTV.com. Or whatever we call it.
TTV.com, yes. That's right.
So, yeah. I mean, I knew.
Podcast.com.
It's just, I went to his Wikipedia page first, because I hadn't seen a close-up of that picture. I didn't know what he looked like. So,
Slow clap for you.
I mean,
Here,
when I
I'll
did
look
it,
at-
it was when the name first came out on that document, so I don't know why.
It's something you should have known of.
Yeah.
No.
but
I
it
think,
was a lot of fun.
It was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess technically, while this podcast hasn't really been about Bionicle, it technically was because we were talking about Merlin Mann's interview. Our
It was about,
interactions with it.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
And how fan
yeah.
bases interact, I think that's really important.
Merlin Mann is still just like a wizard in my head.
He's a wizard in your head.
Merlin Mann.
Look, if we hadn't talked about
Well,
this,
there we
you know,
go, Merlin.
spoiler alert, if we hadn't talked about this, fans, you know what you would have gotten? World building versus characterization round 2, which is more interesting.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure they would have taken that over this, to be honest.
Yeah, they would. Now we're
Here's
gonna
the,
hear a
here's
bunch
the
of
content
comments.
catch up.
We're
Bionicle,
gonna get a
Bionicle,
ton of
Bionicle,
comments saying,
Bionicle,
"You guys didn't talk about Bionicle again this week," and then we're gonna have the comments saying, "At least LJ said Bionicle."
Who
The
on
mask
earth,
hunt ended, and I didn't enter.
Who on earth voted for, like, who said they would want characters over world building? Who said that?
Me.
Var.
I
Characters are part of world
characters are
building.
really yeah. Characters.
Characters are far more important than saying, "Oh, this is a really cool location these characters are in." No,
Not for Lego.
Yeah.
who cares? The characters is what the story is about.
Not for
Not
Lego,
to
where it's all
Lego.
about being creative.
What? The characters are the most important
agree,
part.
I
The
agree
sets
with
they're
Bob.
going to sell isn't the most important part. Are you kidding me?
Listen,
creativity.
part of the draw to Lego, part of the draw to Bionicle, and I feel it's going to be part of the draw of this line, is that you were able to put your own creations in that world. You're able to put those creations in whatever what they presented to you. I feel that's why Bionicle resonated.
But yeah, that is
with
true.
Lego
But
so
right
much.
now, they're not selling your own creations. They're selling the characters. This is the first
I know,
wave.
but I'm saying right now we don't have, there's so much stuff we could be doing right now when it comes to Okoto, but we have no idea what Okoto is. So we're still, Takuma's RPG, for example. It's based on old canon because we have no idea what this new canon's like. And to do anything, we had to base it off what we knew.
This is still the first launch.
Exactly,
It's not
I'm saying
going
that,
to
We got
change.
10 years to base an RPG off. We can't do that for just a single year. Not even a year.
An
4
RPG
months.
could have been
Constructive
an
criticism,
RPG.
Bard.
An RPG could have been based
Constructive
off.
criticism.
X, I'm gonna punch you in the
Look.
face.
The fact of the matter is, an
Only
RPG
200
could have
people.
been based upon Bionicle 2001. An RPG cannot be based around Bionicle 2015.
As we know it so far.
That's really, as we know it so far, that's really what it boils down to.
Well,
Right.
of course, because we have a full year of 2001.
Alright,
I'm sick of this conversation. Can we wait until we have the book out before we actually
It's
do
not
this?
going to
Yeah.
change anything.
How would you know?
Because
I
the
know
You
book
for
would
haven't
be
seen
out-
it!
I know for absolute
fair enough.
certainty.
Mezzo,
Fair enough.
hold
I'll
on,
give you
hold on,
that.
show. Hold on.
It is always very important to be constructive with your criticism.
X, I'm about to hang up on you.
It's
Meso,
gonna
what?
be like, the Toa bumming around Okoto,
Meso.
getting their masks and having
Meso.
banter with their unnamed protector buddy.
I guess
do you know
what
who
I'm
is
saying is that we have...
Yes, LJ.
do you know who's writing this book?
Ryder Wyndham, and he's a good author, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
over
only is
60
he a
I
good
can
Star
imagine
Wars
he can
books.
convey the Skull
Yeah.
Spider's inner turmoil very well, just like Merlin Mann, but it's not going to change the base.
You know what?
I just...
No,
That's it.
Meso.
No. Everyone, hold the presses. Stop the printers. Meso, we're gonna make this public bet.
No, I'm not going to
change
bet.
a lot. I think it's gonna. I think we're gonna
Remember
get.
the last public bet LJ did?
The bet I make
What,
is
the
that it's
Crying
going
for
to
Yodels
just be
one?
it's going to just be retelling what we've already seen in the animations. That's
Well,
my
yeah,
bet.
of course it's going to be.
It's not going
I
to tread any
think
new ground.
we're gonna get Onion Toa.
Okay.
We're gonna get Toa with layers.
No, I absolutely don't agree that it's not going to tread any new ground. Obviously, it's going to repeat what we saw in the animations, but this is a 200-page book. We're going to get
It's
more
gonna
stuff.
Go into more depth. I give you that. I just feel like right now, especially for this first 6 months, it would be cool to just learn about the location first, and then the little bits of story that we got, and then when it came out, they could do characters both later in the year and in the next 2 years that we have, assuming those 2 years take place on Okoto. But I
That's
feel like
fine,
like
but-
right now, I would much rather have world building, because then fans can start doing creative content based on that, and then for this latter half of the year and for the next 2 years we can have character building. But Bionicle,
Plus.
what made Bionicle unique, I feel, was a lot of the location, and you could put your creations in the location, you could do creative stuff within that location. Lego and Bionicle have created a backdrop for fans to do stuff on. I feel that's the draw to Bionicle, even more so than the characters. That's why the island of Motunui is so important, because people
Yeah, but we're
recognize the location.
talking in terms of a story, though. We're not talking about the line in general. In terms of a story in a book you're going to read, do you really want to read about the location more so than the characters? You're listening to a story
sometimes, yeah.
here.
I want
Yeah,
to read
I
about
know,
the characters
I-
exploring
I
the
read
locations.
like a ton of guides.
You want to read about Hogwarts instead of Harry Potter?
Yes.
I want to read about Harry
Whoa,
Potter in
yes.
Hogwarts.
No, I would
yes.
I like all that stuff on Pottermore. I read that much more. I enjoyed that much more than I did a lot of the Harry Potter
And that's
stuff.
supplemental material,
Well, yeah,
though.
if the story
Fair
was
enough. That's
purely
world building.
based on Hogwarts, like the
You're right, that is
building-
world building. But do you really wanted to read 8 books of just, this is what happened at Hogwarts one time?
Yes.
They built up, you wanted to read a documentary,
I
basically.
know, I wouldn't.
Yes, a documentary based in the fake world. Yeah.
That
And
sounds
some
really
people,
dumb.
I would personally,
Like-
I would rather Avatar be a documentary about Pandora as opposed to whatever we got in Avatar, that movie.
I suppose it
that,
bases
honestly,
on someone's
I
opinion.
can't even,
but-
begin to try and agree with you here.
I think
Easily.
I just don't see why they have to be mutually exclusive.
They don't. That's why I said characters are world building.
But
Building
in
up the characters.
Bionicle, it is mutually exclusive. In Bionicle 2015, we're getting characters and we're not getting location building.
We haven't seen the book yet. We don't know.
The book's not going to do
Fair
that.
enough. All right,
You keep
I
saying
don't
that,
mind
but
when
you
put the
haven't read the book, Meso.
I know with absolute certainty.
Let me guess. Oh no, Messer, you're doing it again.
Oh my
You're doing
God.
it again.
Can you really? Do you really honestly keep saying this after you've been wrong multiple times now?
I had to get my quota in. Look, if the books are not going to give us landmarks on Okoto, names for the protectors, insights into the villages, and experiences that go beyond getting their golden masks,
You don't ask for
I will
much,
not.
do you?
If at least two of those 4 things
Okay.
happen, I'll consider it a success. If they don't, I will not consider it a success.
Listen,
I had to get my quota in.
listen. I don't disagree with you that there's a potential that it won't do anything.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna buy the book.
You can't say it won't until you read the book.
I will
Yeah.
concede. I concede there. Yes.
You absolutely could be
Yes.
right,
I
but you
said that
only
in-
could be right.
I said that in jest. I totally agree
You're,
with you.
you're setting
I'm
yourself
totally gonna
up
buy
for
the books.
disappointment if you have nothing but disappointments to expect.
We can't say Bionicle 2015 is all character and no world building. We don't have the book yet. I don't know
Look,
why
man.
people can't grasp this.
Speaking
And
of
even
books, the
if
second
it
one got
doesn't-
announced.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Really?
that.
No name, no title, no info, no nothing, but it's coming in January 2016.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We don't have to wait that much then.
Even
Nope.
if this book doesn't work out, we always have, like, that's the whole point of, like, a lot of the employees listen to our podcast because they want to listen to what we think of their content. So, as long as we're, honest, like we've just said before, then they'll take what we've said, like, as part of what other people have said too, and then try to improve it. And that's the whole point of,
Right.
getting better at.
Yeah, but part of a good argument is actually seeing both ways, though. And unfortunately, Nesso, your stupid pessimism, you're just stuck in one set of mindset.
I can see both ways. I talked to
I'm sure
Merlin
you
Mann.
can, but
I understand,
what you're
I understand
presenting
why
is
that
stupid.
Lego opted for characters over
Yeah,
world building.
okay.
It makes sense. Don't overcomplicate things.
This is the
I
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
From the perspective of someone like me, I don't agree with it.
Hey, Viper,
It's just plain and simple.
Yeah.
I have counted 20 times now where you've interrupted someone.
I'm so
We're gonna have
sorry.
we're gonna have a serious talk after this podcast.
Sorry.
You've been very naughty, Viper.
Yes.
HR is gonna have a firmly worded letter to you.
I'm so
The importance of not
sorry.
interrupting people.
Don't
It ain't-
fire me.
We
It
should probably
ain't gonna be a
cap it.
pink slip, but it may be magenta.
We're all gonna buy the books, so we'll see.
Someone's gonna run upstairs in a minute and see if I'm alright.
Messa, wrap this up.
Okay. So, thank you very much
I thought
for
you said
listening.
Velociraptor there.
Hey, X, I've counted 15 times where you've interrupted somebody. We're going to have a serious talk at the end of this podcast.
Man, HR is gonna have a field day today.
Yes. So, thank
Got a
you
lot of
all
form
very
letters to
much.
write up.
I've counted.
Okay, Akahi, I've counted 45 times where you have interrupted someone today.
Thank you all very much for listening to
Bar,
this.
I've counted 10 times where you've interrupted someone.
Thank you all very much for listening to this episode of the TTV podcast.
Hey, Var, I've
We've
just
got-
counted 11 times.
I feel like
We've
Oprah.
got
You
3
get a form letter, and you get a form letter, and you get a form letter.
We should have an
Ironically.
interruption money jar.
Viper!
Ironically, we've only gotten 3 months. We've only got 3 months left until the book
Var,
comes
stop
out.
interrupting people.
So get hype, and we'll talk about it whenever. So thank you all very much for watching this episode of the TTV
You think
podcast.
200 people will read the book?
I have no clue. We'll see you all next week for the next exciting episode. Maybe we'll have news. Who knows?
Maybe we'll
I'm
actually
messing
talk
up.
about Bionicle.
We did talk about Bionicle. This whole episode was about Bionicle.
I'm
I'm
messing
Barteran.
Okay.
But say it again, Messa.
I'm messing.
I'm Barteran.
I'm LJ.
I'm Kahi.
I'm Viper.
I'm EXX Trooper.
And we'll see you all next week. Continue the conversation on the TTV message boards. Goodbye, everybody.
Give us constructive criticism.
Hey,
only
X,
200
has anyone
people.
ever called you EXX Pooper?
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I love that. I
Carter
love that.
Wellington has done that every single day on Flickr. Like, just,
So
Nice.
sorry for interrupting.
I guess you could say That
It's
really
too late to say
stinks.
sorry, Viper.
It's too late
It's
to
not
apologize.
too late to apologize. Oh, it's too late to apologize.
It's too late.
Sink us out.
Yeah, it's
Sing
so
us out,
gone.
everybody.
5, 4.
And you're never gonna be able to sing at the same time.